everyone, this is Brittany here with your art fill of the week, and this week we are going to be painting a few different animals out of heart shapes just in time for February to come around and it to be Valentine's Day. You can have maybe some fun little doodles or just make Valentines for people with these simple designs. Let's go through what we might need as supplies. I'm gonna try to make it as simple as possible and just have red and white that we can mix then to make pink and various different shades. But if you have more craft paints that you have a pink already and have a red, then you can just use those for the different hearts that I'll be showing you how to form into an animal. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so I divided my paper because I'm gonna show you 5 different animals. We are gonna start by doing a dog. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with just red. And we'll do a heart, upside down heart, unless you want to turn your page. And then underneath that heart, we're gonna do another upside down one, unless you're turning your page to help you. Straight from that center opening, another heart. And then you gotta wait for that to dry, and we'll do the next steps. Okay, now I'm gonna take some pink, and off to the side right here, we're gonna do smaller hearts. May have to switch paint. Yeah, I'm gonna switch my paintbrush to a smaller paintbrush, just because I'm making mine a little bit smaller to fit all of them. So 2 hearts off to the side here on either side. One heart. And then this other side. And if it helps you to draw it out with pencil first and then paint over it, sometimes that's a little bit easier to control the heart if you're not used to painting. And then another heart, this is gonna be his tail. We're gonna do a heart. Off of his body. That's his little tail wagging back there. And the reason why I wanted you to wait until his body was dry is because we're going to paint over that. So, because of where we put the first heart, his mouth is technically going to be right here. So you can do a little, this won't be a heart, but you can do his little tongue sticking out like he's panting. Okay, so his nose, I'm going to make a dark red, and that's gonna be another heart. I may even make it black. This doesn't show up because it's more like a gray that I made. Put some black so you can see his heart-shaped nose. And then his two eyes, I'm gonna go in with my white and put 2 dots, but then let them dry. 2 little circles. And let those dry. If it's acrylic paint, it shouldn't take very long, as long as you didn't slap on a ton of the paint, but it shouldn't take too long to dry. And once his eyes are dry, I'm gonna fill in his pupils with some pink. Or his eye color, I guess, and then we're filling his pupils with some black. And do tiny dot of black in there. And then to make his tongue stand out a little more, I'm gonna add more of a white to his tongue to be like a very, very light pink. Okay, so now maybe the person you're making a Valentine for, or maybe you are a cat person instead of a dog person, we're gonna do a cat. It'll be very similar to the dog with slight differences. So I'm gonna go ahead and change the body color on mine and do the more dark pink. Same thing, a chain of 2 upside down hearts. And instead of going ahead and waiting for it to dry, we're going to use that same color that we did the body. And for the ears, instead of doing what we did here where they kind of go out, we're gonna do 2 more upside down hearts so that we get that point. In mine, I left it so there's that white in between to make it like cat ears, so that instead of using pink for the inside, we're using that white of the page. And then we also can go ahead and add a tail already. This one's gonna be kind of a stretched heart, so not quite your normal heart. We're gonna draw out like this. And then curve in the ends. So that it's kind of like it's a bushy-tailed cat, but instead it's a heart at the end there. And now it's just the easy step of adding a nose and eyes and maybe some whiskers. So I'm gonna go in with some really light pink and make that triangle nose. If you want to make a heart nose, you can, like we did with the dog. But cats are known for that triangular nose. There's my nose. And then I'll put dots where I want his eyes to be. So they'll be right here. And right here. And if you want to add whiskers, I would do the red, like I'm gonna do the red, so I would do a darker color than what you did the body. And just do 3 little lines off of the nose, like that. Same on this side. For whiskers, and then we have a little dot of black, which I ran low on black. Do our dots. Mine's not completely dry yet, so it's gonna have some white mixing in. So if you don't want to mess up, make sure that's completely dry. There's our 2 eyes. So that's our cat, and we're gonna move on, and next will be a fish. Alright, for our fish, first of all, we're not starting with a heart. I'm gonna make it easier for you to visualize. So we're gonna add a circle at the very center. Doesn't need to be a perfect circle. This is just for his body, and we're gonna build off of this circle with our hearts. So get that circle. And then choose a different color. And off of the circle on this side, do a heart. And then you can either use that same color or go for, I'm gonna go for a little bit lighter pink. And you're doing your heart onto that circle. So from a point out here, and then for this next step, I'm gonna get my smaller paintbrush again. And we're gonna do his fins. So down here, from the point on that circle, we're doing a heart off of that body. Obviously, you'll see I'm not making like the perfect uniform heart every time. If I maybe was drawing first, they would be very uniform, but I think it looks a little more creative if all the hearts aren't the same shapes. They're a little off a little bit. So there's our bottom fin. And then we're gonna do a top fin up here. With an even smaller heart, but we're gonna make it pointing up. So and then make sure your fish is completely dry before you try to do his face. I don't want you to mess up your fish. Okay. Now for his face, his mouth would be about right here. So we can do a little smile. And then I'm just going to do a black dot for his eye, which should be about right here. And if you want to, you can get creative, and for his scales, you can draw little heart shapes. Or threes, I guess, if you don't want to connect them. And there's your fish. Now maybe your Valentine or you maybe like sharks better. So this next one, we're going to make a shark. Okay, for your shark's body, we're gonna kind of create a very large and long heart. So from a point, leave a little space because we're going to need to do his tail. Super long. And kind of a shorter bump so that we can have more of a mouth. So then bring it down out here for that second one. And then from there, you can go ahead, use that same color, and add a heart off of this end. It's gonna look a little bit better if you do more of a stubby heart. So it looks like his back fin. And then for this top fin, it's of course going to be an upside down heart. So you can go ahead and make that point off of him if it makes it easier to do that step first. And then make it into a heart. And then more fins. So there's gonna be a little tiny heart off of here. Chose the wrong paintbrush. There's gonna be another heart there. I'll fix it when I grab a smaller paintbrush. There's smaller hearts for that fin. Then for these bottom ones, there's gonna be one. So from this one, kind of where I made that smudge already, there's gonna be a heart right here. And then for his larger one, towards the front, bigger heart. Now this next part I needed a smaller paintbrush because we're gonna do little tiny hearts as his teeth. So it's going to be like opposites based on the top and the bottom. So this bottom, to make them pointy, we got to do upside down heart. And then the top then would be the actual upright heart. Let me know if you just now realized that shark's teeth are actually heart-shaped. There's our menacing heart-shaped teeth. And once again, make sure his body is dry before you add in those eyes. His eye. And if you want, you can add his little gills, would be like right here. So that's our shark, and now to go in a completely different direction, I'm going to show you how to make a giraffe. Okay, so for our giraffe, I am going to do more of a pink for his body, probably on the lighter side because we're gonna add those spots on him. So I'm gonna do upside down heart. And then his head is going to be kind of a diagonal heart. Like that. And you can go ahead and do his tail. We're gonna do like a normal tail off here, just that squiggle, like that. And then at this end, a little heart. And his ears. Kind of similar to the cats. And then with that more pink color, they have like those little, I don't know if they're called antenna, but they have those, or horns maybe? Those two antenna-like things sticking up off their head. So those aren't exactly hearts, but you could make them hearts up here at the ends if you wanted to. And then their nose has some like different type of fur or something, just like not fur, I guess, the padding of their nose. So you can do a heart at this tip of his face. And once again, make sure his body is dry. We're gonna go ahead and add those spots, but we're gonna make them hearts instead of rectangles. So I'm I'm gonna do half a heart here to make it seem like it's going around his body. Then we can do a heart here. Just hearts in various places on his body. They don't have to be the same, just like their spots aren't all the same. And you can kind of just do a few little dots on his tail. And he'd have a few little hearts on his face too. So you don't have to put little tiny hearts, but just little dots like there were hearts. And then make sure his nose is dry, but their noses are pretty much hearts. So a little heart nose. And then we'll put in his two eyes. And then I'm gonna add a little bit of pink to his ears, because I think they're too red for me. And that's our giraffe. Thank you so much for painting all these animals with me. If this video helped you out, please leave a like so other people can find it. And if you're not subscribed and would like more tutorials like this or other art content, please subscribe, and I will see you in next week's video.